What is up, everyone? Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, June 27th, 2019. Taking a break out of my day, taking a break from work to just do a nice quick video on Bitcoin. Now, first off, if you're a replay viewer, I'll put some timestamps in the description below, but I'm actually just going to jump right into the video. I'll kind of go through the video once, and then I'm sure there'll be new people on the live stream, and so I'll probably just rehash what I just said a second time. Let's jump into the video. I want to start with a tweet. This was at 1:31, so 26 minutes ago. I just tweeted Bitcoin at the time of the tweet, 10,450. I said, just bought some Bitcoin at key trendline support, heavier buy range for me approaching key Fibonacci retracement on daily charts, 8,700 to 9,900. So I just bought a little Bitcoin a little bit ago, and we're going to talk about that. I have a heavier buy range for Bitcoin, 8,700 to 9,900 if we get there. There's no guarantee we'll get there. I mentioned in the bear market a lot, when we get into a bull market, I want to track the dips. Buying the dips in a bull market proves profitable. Dollar cost averaging in general, if you look at the history of Bitcoin, if you just dollar cost average, you don't even look at the charts, proves profitable. Buying the dips, even more so, in my opinion. That's why I watch the charts. I have time to watch the charts. We have this YouTube channel where we're tracking Bitcoin. Buying the dips in a bull market is my approach. You know that. And we're entering a new cycle of Bitcoin, and buying the dips is part of it. So heavier buy range for me, approaching key Fibonacci retracement on daily chart, 8,700 to 9,900. I did just buy a little bit of Bitcoin down here when I posted this tweet. So I didn't get, I don't think it was, I don't know the exact price point, but it was in that dip that we just had. So as we kind of cruise into Bitcoin charts, I want to just put some context out there for you. I had I had a comment on a Litecoin video that I just posted like an hour ago. The comment said, healthy retracement or not, this is the kind of volatility that delays mass adoption. People aren't going to want to buy LTC and watch them depreciate 15 to 20% in a single day. Wild swings like this need to stop. 100% understand what that commenter is saying, but I want to throw this out there. You are in an early stage investment, everyone, and anybody that decides to get into this thing, anybody that decides to enter Bitcoin, Litecoin with investments, you are early stage. With that comes risk. There's extreme risk in this environment, and with that comes volatility. The early stage of any technology, that's what's going to happen to your investment. Volatility and risk. If you can't deal with it, then you're not meant to be here early stage. If you want stability, wait. Wait years and years and years for stability. But the reward is not going to be there as much as it is now if you can have the skin thick enough to withstand the volatility. Good example, Apple. Did people back here in the early stages, and this chart goes back to into the 80s, did they have the tolerance to withstand the volatility of Apple? Look at this, June 83 down to a 73% retracement into 84, right? And look at the volatility of Apple in the early days. You can look at the volatility of Amazon in the early days. Look, I have a 57% swing low marked here in a matter of weeks. This is a weekly chart. Early stage, everybody. We're at the very beginning of a massive technology shift, a massive wealth shift, and there's volatility. It's going to be here. It's going to be here for a while. And there's people that are deciding not to get into cryptocurrency because of that very reason, and that's their risk tolerance as a human being, and that's their choice. But I wanted to put that out there. There's a reason it's volatile. It's the same reason if you're investing into a startup and you're early stage and you're pre-seed even, you're very early stage. There's risk there, but the reward to the upside, if you can withstand the risk, if you can withstand the downs, especially in an early stage company, there are downs, right? Where almost on the brink of failure a startup might be. If you can withstand that volatility and there is long-term success in that startup, then your early stage investment will pay off extremely well. We're in the same exact type of environment. This isn't like you're buying or investing money into like a money market account or something, and you're going to see like a consistent, steady growth in a conservative manner. That's not what cryptocurrency is right now. So let's go into Bitcoin charts. I want to rehash everything that's been going on. I mean, we've been tracking this huge, awesome move to the upside. What's good about the chart I have here, it lags a day, right? This is the liquid index chart for Bitcoin. This is our long-term chart, actually, that we have for Bitcoin. But what's good is we get to see Bitcoin and what it was doing yesterday, right? So on this chart, 12,897 gives us a good sense of what's happening. So I want to start here and break down what has actually happened for Bitcoin. Bitcoin has fallen big time today, over 20% or so. So let's check it out. We had, in our move up into that $13,000 area, we were talking about the most critical and the largest, strongest resistance area that was fast approaching. It is exactly the same type of retracement area that Bitcoin had from its bull market swing high in 2013 to swing low in 2015 or 2014. And it's this. It's the same exact type of move for Bitcoin. It's a Fibonacci retracement on the weekly chart. It's a Fibonacci retracement that plays into the cycles of Bitcoin, and it's right here. It's the 618 to 786. I don't know if you're sick of hearing me talk about it, but we're talking about it because it is the biggest area of resistance right now. So we're talking about, in general, 618 to 786 is 61.8% to 78.6% back to all-time high. Huge resistance area in this long-term flow of Bitcoin. So you see it coming out of that last bear market. You can see Bitcoin saw heavy resistance at this area. We got 40% retracement, right, for continuation to the upside. So as we approached $13,000 or so yesterday, and we were approaching it in the last few days, we took the same exact Fibonacci retracement and we placed it on the chart, right? And so here we get to see how it played out. So we launched from 10,000 to 11,000 to 12,000 to 13,000, and you can see we pretty much approached that Fibonacci retracement. We talked about seeing huge resistance there. We also mentioned if Bitcoin managed to just keep going and break through this whole channel, Bitcoin was about to go crazy and would probably blow right through $20,000. But that didn't happen. This huge resistance area, 61.8% to 78.6% to the upside, right, to the swing high of that bull market, got rejected. And it was healthy, it was necessary, and it was normal. I just want to throw that out there. Days like this are the days that I talk about on this channel. And usually when I'm talking about these things in an uptrend, which I have been talking about this in this uptrend, that's when I really get some negative comments because people don't want to hear it. I only bring it up because it's, number one, what I'm tracking in my own mind. But number two, if you're watching my content, I want you to be ready for days like this. That's all. I just want you to be ready. So when I talk about the downside, that's why I'm talking about it. So look at the Fibonacci. This is on the weekly chart still. Here's our price point of resistance, 13,240 up to 15,973. That's our long-term huge resistance, synergistic with the resistance area Bitcoin had back here. Here's our Fibonacci back there in 2016, 3 years ago, June of 2016. You can see huge rejection. And what's interesting, you see the initial rejection for Bitcoin off of this area, off this Fibonacci back then, got like a 20 to 30% weekly bar, right? Little bit of a bounce, but eventual continuation to another 20% down for a total of 40% down. So very interesting right now, if we're looking at our current weekly bar and what this looks like, rejection off of this channel thus far, we have same thing, 25% or so, 20 to 30%. It's very interesting how similar these charts are, and they continue to be. It's not as interesting, the fact that we have resistance off this Fibonacci retracement. I mean, you can't say we'd expect it, but it was such a strong anticipation. It was very likely, because look at Bitcoin charts since February. It's just green candle after green candle after green candle. Consolidation is just necessary. Walter, thanks for the $9.99 super chats. Appreciate you. I believe Sarah and you have an anniversary approaching. Happy anniversary, my friends. We do, July 4th, coming up quick. Cannot wait. Thank you so much, Walter, for a super chat for LAUNCHPAD Foundation. Very much appreciative. And I'll tell Sarah you said hi, and I really thank you for that. Thanks for remembering that. Wow, that's impressive. You're the best. So, while we can't say we expected it, it was very likely that we're going to see resistance in that area. We can pivot over to the daily chart, and this is really kind of playing into my tweet that I had a little bit earlier, which was I just bought some Bitcoin at a key trend line support, and I have a heavier buy, 87 to 9,900. So let's look at what that looks like. First off, still Fibonacci is here. Here's our resistance channel. It played out perfectly for resistance, and now we're getting consolidation. What type of consolidation? Time will tell. There's nothing more you can do but have a plan. I don't know how you want to go about this. Maybe my way is stupid. I don't know. This is just the comfortable way for me in accumulating Bitcoin, and it's starting to accumulate in moves like this. If you look at this daily candle from huge key resistance, this daily candle is 22%. This is when I can begin accumulating and feeling good about it, right? Sometimes I'll just buy Bitcoin or Litecoin whenever. Sometimes I just want to go buy some, and I don't even really care about price. But when I start thinking about it in terms of actual true accumulation, right? Heavier buys, then this is when I'm using technical analysis. And this is what it looks like for me. I tweeted this. I just bought some Bitcoin. Well, the reason why I bought not as heavy is simply because we visited this extremely reliable trend line that we've been just tracking for probably weeks now, right? This chart here, this pattern, this rising wedge, you see it here in white. Now the story, this rising wedge has a story. And the more of a story that a pattern has for me, and especially if it's a long-term pattern, I just love it. And I'll use it as much as I possibly can in my technical analysis and my approach. So the story of this pattern is simple. We have a series of higher highs and higher lows. You know, it started back in the beginning of May. We had a false breakout to the downside, right, of that pattern. We had like quick support and then a turnaround. And this is the thing we look for when we get a breakout out of a pattern, is this. Did Bitcoin, in this case, revisit the trend line that it broke? And it did, right here. Revisited that lower trend line, and then it broke above that trend line and the upper trend line. This confirmed our busted rising wedge, right? Because we had a false breakout to the downside, and then we have a breakout to the upside. Bitcoin hits a target, not only to our key Fibonacci area, but literally hit our target to 12,700 or so, the breakout target for this rising wedge, this busted rising wedge, hit our target, hit the Fibonacci retracement that we've been tracking. It played out beautifully. If you don't think technical analysis works, I don't know what more I could do to just show you how it works, because it's just on the screen. So for my approach and accumulation, since we've done what we always want to do after getting a breakout out of a trend line, so we got the breakout here, June 21st or so, June 21st, June 22nd, out of the upper trend line of this very reliable pattern, hit our targets, hit our retracements, Fibonacci retracement resistance. What are we looking for? Same thing as we always do, a revisit to the key trend line that we previously have broken out of. This is a conservative approach that requires some patience. But otherwise, if you have the patience, it allows you to kind of avoid an unknown approach. You're kind of just guessing, right? But if you have patience, then you just have a plan, an action plan. So action plan for me is a little bit of accumulation here. Just because we hit a trend line, we show some hints of support. You can see it. We wick down to like 10.4 on this chart, into the 10.3s, I guess. Good area of accumulation, at least on the short term, to see what happens next. We can get a bouncing continuation to the upside. Whether or not that happens, we keep an eye on it. But for now, I have a little bit of a buy zone there, right? So I bought some Bitcoin, and then I simply have a heavier buy zone at a even more reliable area for consolidation. And that would be a swing low that we had back in June 4th, beginning of June. We had some awesome gains since that swing low, some great gains, right? And we had our swing high, obviously 100% confirmed swing high. There's no continuation in that daily candle extending into this daily candle. So we had a reversal. So swing low, June 4th, swing high, June 26th, right into our Fibonacci area, 618. So this gives you a good idea how we're using Fibonacci down to 786, and those are our buy areas for Bitcoin right now. That's the heavier buy for me. All in all, that would bring Bitcoin from a swing high. If it hits that 786, that's almost a 40% retracement, an amazing area of accumulation, in my opinion, in an uptrend. 40%, 30 to 40% retracement. It's something I'm very comfortable with. And we're talking that's also just above the 50 moving average. So I just got done doing a video on Litecoin, because Litecoin on the daily chart, look what it just did. It revisited the 50 moving average on the daily chart. Extremely, extremely healthy. It's such a good move. Will it hold? Time will tell, but it's in an uptrend. It's what you want to see. You just, every time we get too overextended from that 50 moving average, it just gets plain scary, because you know the pullback's coming. One thing that's good for Litecoin is we had this swing high back here, 56% overextended from the 50 moving average. And what's good is Litecoin just kind of traded sideways for a while until it was actually only 23% overextended, right? And then we get our pullback down like gravity to the 50 moving average. And so we can anticipate a similar move for Bitcoin in this scenario, right? It would be like gravity for Bitcoin to continue into this range, which is a key Fibonacci range also. So a lot of confluence happening in this Fibonacci area from swing low to swing high. A lot of confluence down here right above the 50 moving average. So I think there's good support down there. I think it's a good area of accumulation. It's where I'm comfortable accumulating. This is my approach. It's simply my approach. And I don't always share with you every time I buy. However, there are sometimes I like to just kind of put it out there, especially when it plays well into our charts and into accumulating and buying the dip, because especially if you've been watching in the bear market, that's what we talk about a lot on this channel is essentially buying the dip. So that's it. That's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. I will end with this by just noting and pointing out we've got the reversal on the RSI. We've talked about how pretty much 100% of the time, and actually I'll go back over here to this other chart. I'll open up the weekly RSI, and you can see the weekly RSI. We basically talked about every time we approached this line. It's the 80 line or so on the RSI. Bitcoin, for the history of Bitcoin, has consolidated, whether we're trading just at that 80 line, just above that 80 line, like back here in December 2017, huge bear market approaching. We get consolidation, 20% pullback, 30% pullback, 85% bear market pullback. They happen in this area. So we anticipated a big move of consolidation. At the very least, we're getting at least a 20% consolidation. Whether or not that continues, up in the air. You can see the daily chart nicely settling back down. A good, healthy first move. It's just, is this not predictable? Look at the resistance line right at this 87. I already had this charted from a previous video. Look, resistance here on the RSI, May 11th. Resistance here, April 3rd. Resistance here, history in the making for future charts, June 22nd or June 26th. We get the resistance, we get consolidation. It's almost just like the RSI. If you're using that indicator alone, it's almost like it just hands you the blueprint to Bitcoin. Always risk, but wow, it just prepares us so much. So that's what I'm looking at on the charts. That's my approach right now. I wanted to make this a quick live stream. 20 minutes is good. I really, truly appreciate you. If you're here in the chats, thank you so much for coming by. If you're here and you're not a subscriber, because I know 50% or so of you are not subscribers, hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you as part of the channel, especially as we make moves going into this next bull market. Things are getting excited. I can tell you one thing, 20% consolidation for Bitcoin, it's absolutely nothing. If we get 40%, we fall into this accumulation channel, my accumulation channel, still absolutely nothing. It is just a little blip on the radar in the long-term uptrend of Bitcoin. I'm telling you, this is early stage. Hopefully you're cool with the volatility. I know it requires some patience, but if you're here and you're bullish on Bitcoin and Litecoin, so am I. And I'm here and I'm in it with you. Appreciate you all. I hope you have an amazing rest of your Thursday. If anything new happens, probably do a video on it. But for now, those are my thoughts. I'm sticking to it. I will see you all in the next video. Have an awesome rest of your day, and God bless.